Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's start off with this article here from Cointelegraph, talking about 3 signs suggesting that the XRP price boom can continue in quarter 4 of 2022. This got posted a little bit of time ago. It's probably over 24 hours ago by the time that this video does go live. But we have been watching XRP's price rally for a while. We did come back down and retest some nice lows, which we will definitely look at in this video as well. But for the most part, I do think that before we look at what's going to happen next around a rally, point, I think that we also have to gauge, what kind of market are we in right now. A lot of people think that we are in a bear market and we won't pump until the next Bitcoin halving, which again, we're basing that off of the past 2 cycles that we've had, which I just don't think is enough information to go off of. If you're going to continue to follow the 4-year cycle, that's fine. I just don't put all of my chips in one basket because again, I always want to make sure that one, I have a sort of a weighed out idea on how I look at this market. And I do take into consideration every single type of market that we could very well be in. Are we in a bull cycle right now? Are we in a bear cycle right now? Or are we in just a mid-cycle correction, which a lot of people do believe that we are. But then there's the majority that does believe that we are in a bear market and we won't pump until the Bitcoin halving, which again is to me kind of confusing on how you would base that off of things, but it is what it is. And I think that the 4-year cycle idea will start to kind of fade out as time goes on and as adoption does grow. We definitely have to watch and see what's going to happen next around this market. To me personally, though, I just have been averaging into positions that I feel are very undervalued. I think that Bitcoin, XRP, being down at like 30 cents was pretty undervalued because not only, at the time that Bitcoin was trading at, we'll say, I think it was like maybe 20K, 19K, somewhere within that range. The last time that Bitcoin was trading at those prices, XRP was a lot cheaper. So again, going into the next major cycle, XRP could very well hit some nice highs if everything does align perfectly. And we have been watching XRP closely. We actually do see a few things here that they are talking about in terms of the SEC lawsuit. My hot take: after 2 years of litigation, the SEC is unable to identify any contract for investment. That's what the statute requires, and cannot satisfy a single prong of the Supreme Court's Howey test. Everything else is just noise. So things in terms of the SEC lawsuit looks pretty good. I think that we will most likely see a major decision happening within the next 2 to 9 months. We do see down here XRP price bull pennant as well. They have been looking at this bull pennant, and usually these bull flags do break to the upside. And if that is the case, we are eyeing, well, they are saying 63.5 cents on this chart basically. We've been eyeing about 62 cents, so it's right around the same range anyways, which is going to be a pretty nice rally. This would be about a 35% price rally, which is very exciting. We do see strong accumulation detected as well, and here you guys have the this is from sentiment, and you can see the mean coin age, dormant circulation, and also the price. So we are seeing a lot of accumulation happening here as well. Notably, investors have moved a total of $126 million worth of XRP from exchanges to unknown wallets since October 14th. In comparison, 78.99 million worth of XRP was deposited into these exchanges as well. So this is quite a bit of money, and we have been watching these whale alerts for a little bit of time, which we will definitely address in this video as well. I told you guys in the last video that I addressed the whale alert. It's not too much to gauge everything off of, but it is still a very interesting indicator on what we could see. And we do see a legal win for Ripple. Again, a lot of speculation is around this. We don't know when this is going to be fully announced. It could be announced any day, but we definitely have been gauging off of what Brad Garlinghouse has been really kind of speculating on, which is the next 2 to 9 months. Could it drag on for even longer? Sure. But could it be a lot shorter? Sure. And we do see the news that the court has rejected SEC's objection to disclose more documents linked to Hinman's 2018 speech. Led to a surge in XRP price on September 30th. XRP rallied by 12% in 24 hours. These post-hearing rallies might just be a taste of what is yet to come for XRP win, or if XRP wins the case. And yes, I do think that if XRP does win the case, it's going to be very exciting. So let's actually look into what's happening around whale alert. So we do see 60 million XRP, $28.9 million worth was transferred from an unknown wallet to Bitstamp. And then we did see about 64 million XRP worth about 30 30.8 million transferred from Bitstamp to an unknown wallet. And then over here, we also did see 22.3 million XRP transferred from Bitso to an unknown wallet, which this is an on-demand liquidity partner. But there has been a lot more of these major whale alerts around XRP. Now, a lot of people do gauge the movements within the market off of these. I just don't think that it is a viable, indicator fully to go off of, but it is a good indicator to watch because, again, we have seen this in the past lead to some special movement around Bitcoin, especially when you did see USDT being minted, which is always exciting to see. But again, don't base everything off of this, but this is still very exciting, and there has been a lot of indicators leading to a price move. That's why when we look at this, there is a ton of indicators here that could lead to a major update that could also allow for XRP to have that major 35% rally. Now, when we look into this, another major announcement was the XRP ledger is getting a sidechain that's compatible with Ethereum. Now, this does not mean that XRP is working with Ethereum or anything like that. It just allows for a sidechain that could bridge and connect to Ethereum. And I think that this is going to be pretty exciting. And we do see down here that this means the Ethereum compatible sidechain for XRP Ledger is now live, but still in an early phase. The sidechain uses the coding language Solidity, the same code that is used to program applications and smart contracts on the Ethereum network and other EVM blockchains such as Avalanche. But unlike Ethereum, the XRP Ledger sidechain uses XRP as its native currency. So the efficiencies are there around XRP. And we do see down here that sidechains make it easy for developers to customize the chain for their use cases, and bridging Ethereum smart contracts to the XRP ledger would or could lower the barriers to entry for developers to build powerful DeFi apps with cross-chain interoperability. So this is very exciting, and also we do see down here it launched its own NFT protocol for the XRP ledger, the XLS20, on its DevNet back in January, a move which allows developers to launch NFTs directly onto the XRP ledger mainnet. And we do see that the XLS20 technology was approved to launch on the XRP ledger mainnet on September 13th, but it is not live yet. And I think that there's been a few discussions on when this is going to go fully live. We don't know exactly when, but in terms of the announcement around the XRP ledger sidechain compatible with EVM, we actually have the full-on announcement here from PeerSite, and here you guys have the announcement. I'm going to listen into this for about a minute and 22 seconds.
Introducing the new XRP Ledger sidechain that we have developed from PeerSys technology together with Ripple and compatible with EVM. Join us to see what the
And I just noticed that I said PeerSite, and I actually meant to say PeerSys, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah.
This means, thanks to the operability of smart contracts, we can now unlock the full potential of DeFi in XRPL. A new world of possibilities is unlocked for XRP thanks to the sidechain with EVM. The EVM sidechain uses XRP as its native token. You don't need to use any other currency to access. Built with the powerful Tendermint protocol and carefully customized for XRP Ledger. Now.
And yeah, I mean, like, this is very exciting. This is going to be a game changer 100%. Interoperability between all these chains is 100% key. We are seeing a lot of bridges being built out. What I have been focused on, though, is, of course, you guys know me with Quant as well as Flare. I think that these two are going to be the biggest game changers around the space. So this is great. If you are an XRP holder, you should definitely be excited about this because it is going to allow for a lot more volume to be transacted and moved over to the XRP ledger. Now, what I wanted to talk to you guys about in terms of price action behind XRP, the biggest mover that will happen around this entire market is the US dollar dropping in value. So we do see over here, perspective matters. Do not confuse the ship sinking, the slowest as floating. Or sorry, do not confuse the ship sinking, the slowest as floating, perception, reality. And here you guys have perception. Everybody believes that the XRP, wow, the US dollar is going absolutely crazy. And the last time that we've seen something like this, and we've seen a 180 on the US dollar, XRP and most of the entire market has skyrocketed in value. But a lot of people are looking at this chart in a sense of saying like, okay, well, the US dollar looks extremely strong, so that means that, the US dollar is going to be incredible to be, holding, hodling, and it's going to be, it's going to be so strong, and the US economy is so strong, and that's what they are trying to let on. But the problem here is the reality of all of this is this. Everything is going down. The only issue is that as all of these other major currencies are dropping in value because of what the US has been doing economically, especially with inflation and things like that, especially with the sanctions on Russia as well, which is collapsing the European countries in terms of their monetary systems and their fiat dollars. We do see the US dollar going absolutely crazy in terms of strength, but it's a matter of time before this starts to do a 180 turnaround. And a lot of people believe that it's going to be the Fed pivoting. A lot of people think that's going to be other, indicators as well. We don't know, but all we know is that at the end of the day, we will see the dollar do a 180 turnaround. And I've been looking at the US dollar. So I actually have the US dollar and Bitcoin over here. We could actually change the Bitcoin price chart. We'll go to the total in terms of the entire crypto market. Now, this is both on the 1 week view. I'm just looking at the 1 week view just for a little bit of a easier way of gauging this. So a lot of people understand, I should say, most of you should understand how this market moves. The biggest indicator is the US dollar actually dropping in value, which means that a lot of money is actually going into risk on asset classes like crypto and stocks. When we look at the total compared to the US dollar, which the US dollar is over here, you could see going back to March of 2020, we did have this slow sort of surge all the way from the 2018 bottom from February, which this was after the bull market of 2017 and 2018, and this did start to gain a ton of momentum. In fact, it actually pumped all the way up to about roughly 12.9%, had a little bit of a pullback. It pumped up a little bit more. This was a total of about 13.25%. Then it dropped another like 5.31%. And then it finally exhausted itself after roughly a 16.70%, 75% move. Now, the interesting thing about this is that after the fact, we did see a major sell-off. We've seen a massive crash on the US dollar. In fact, it was about roughly a 13.37% crash on the US dollar. And right now, if we're going off this bottoming structure down here from, we'll say, December of 2020, we have already outreached well above the percentage back here, which was 16.75%. We're already up about 28.59% on the US dollar. So when we talk about the US dollar's 180 turnaround, it is going to be monumental. I mean, this is going to be a historical moment in time to watch the US dollar do a 180 turnaround, because if the dollar collapsed 13.37% back here, now, yes, sure, there was a lot of there was a lot of fear in the markets back here because of COVID and lockdowns and things like that. But what are we seeing now as well? We are seeing, if anything, things being accelerated around economic fears. So I would argue that if we do pump this dollar back up a little bit more, we'll say, okay, our outreach is the 120 level, right? Say for so this is the topping point, which again, I'm not trying to predict the topping point for the dollar or anything like that, but I believe that this is the last sort of line before things get really broken around the financial markets. Because again, this is going all the way back to a macro yearly high of 2001. Now, I'm not saying that we can't go higher. I'm just saying, like, if we do go higher, then things are going to get pretty risky in terms of almost every single monetary and financial market out there. But if we do say for so, like we pump all the way up to like 120, this would be about a 35.58% increase in price, nearly doubling the increase in price back here. So I'm not saying that we're going to double the drop in price, because if that was the case, it would be about a 26% drop in value on the US dollar. Just to give you guys a perspective, that would be retesting the low that we had back here in 2021. Now, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that this is going to happen perfectly like this, but if this was the case, if things did happen like this and we had a, double the drop from this time back here, risk on asset classes like crypto, like stocks, are going to go absolutely parabolic. And you might be wondering, well, why is that? Well, just simply money transitioning from fiat into risk on investments like crypto and stocks. Just to give you guys a perspective, here you guys have the, so off of this 8.82% of an increase in value on the dollar, and again, you can see it over here, crypto dropped roughly 65.10% during that time. Then, after the US dollar started to drop in value, we went on an absolute massive move in risk on asset classes like crypto. And some will argue that, May was our topping point for crypto. This was a little bit of a scam, pump. This was like a dead cat bounce, if you will. I know that it is technically higher than this high back here. Again, that's just my perspective. I do believe that we kind of topped back here. A lot of tokens did not, continue to go higher during this time. Again, that's just my perspective on it. But nonetheless, what I'm trying to get at is the fact that we've pumped up 2,700% in the entire crypto market, $2.9 trillion during this time. Now, I'm not saying that we are going to double everything going off of statistics here in terms of like the value chain of the US dollar going absolutely crazy and then, doing a 180 turnaround, which is very well possible. If we were talking about, say for so 27 times 2, so we'll say 5,400%. If we did do a 5,400% of an increase in price, we would be sitting at about a $41.67 trillion market cap. Now, I'm not saying that that is possible. I'm not saying that that's realistic. If anything, what I'm actually looking at is a little bit under this percentage. And I know that a lot of people are going to call me crazy and say, like, what are you talking about? Why would we, pump less than back here? Well, it's because of diminished returns around the entire market. I mean, like, you look at Bitcoin, diminished returns are very well possible. So if I was actually looking at this, I'd be looking more so at around like $10 trillion. I think that $10 trillion is viable for the entire crypto market going into the next major cycle. And if that is the case, we would be looking at around 1,223% of an increase in price off of these lows that we have on the board right now. And if we did kind of repeat that pump, say for so we did about a 2,700% of an increase in price because if regulations come into the space and say for so we have, institutional investors jumping in, then we would be at about almost $4 trillion. Again, is that possible? Sure, technically it is, but we have to really kind of be conservative here, and I would say like $10 to $15 trillion is still pretty good. That is around roughly, like I said, anywhere between 1,200 to about like 1,500. Well, it's actually a little bit over 15. It's about like 1,900% of an increase in price. But the reason why I think that this is possible is just because of how overreached the US dollar is. And this is why I do think that this is going to be the biggest bull run in history in terms of the next major cycle run. Again, a lot of people do think that that could be 2023. A lot of people think that it could be 2024 into 2025. We don't know. Nobody really knows. Everyone's really kind of taking a major guess on it. But one thing is for certain is that a lot of people do believe that Bitcoin's next major run up will be around 120 to 160K. And if that is the case from here, in terms of the bottoming point that we've had, this would be about an 800% of an increase in price or possibly a 594% of an increase in price. And the market cap for Bitcoin during that time will be roughly anywhere between 2 to a little bit over $2 trillion, which is pretty high substantially, and most of the other tokens in this market, like for example Ethereum, will trail right behind it, probably hit about $1 trillion in market cap as well. So I do think that the 10 to $15 trillion market cap is a viable area to focus on if the US dollar does collapse the way that we are looking at it and kind of focusing on. But a lot of things are indicating that XRP could go pretty, parabolic depending on all of these major signs. But I will definitely be looking at the US dollar more so than anything else. I know that a lot of people have been looking at other levels that they have been focused on in terms of like speculation runs, what could help, XRP run. The number one thing for me is just the US dollar, because again, you could see everything that has happened in the past that has ignited the moves in this market, and the US dollar collapsing is the one that really kind of puts it all on the board for you to see, because again, you can compare it to when we bottomed to when we topped and what the US dollar was doing that entire time. So that's what I'm more so looking at. XRP right now, in terms of looking at the chart, if I was looking at the 1 week and doing actual TA, I would say it's still under major resistance at the weekly 50 EMA, we need to break out of that first to really kind of say, okay, yeah, this is looking extremely bullish. And once we do break over that, then yeah, it's going to be something special in terms of where we can go from next. But I have been looking at this, and my target point is 62 cents, more so kind of, I would say 60 point, we'll say 60 and a half cents. Just because I'm not going to try to say 64.67, just because I want to have it as a clean number. So 60 and a half cents would be my key point to look at. Anywhere after that is still pretty good to me. If we can back test the 50 EMA on the weekly, turn that into support, that would be great. We've also been looking at the lower time frames on the 3-day. Again, that nice blue line up there at about like 58, almost 59 cents, which is the 200 3-day EMA. That's also a big sign of major resistance that we still need to break out of. OBV is still dropping, so we need a lot more volume in on XRP for this to actually continue this bullish run. Do I think that XRP will perform great in the next major cycle? 100%, but we have to wait to see what actually happens. So with all that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.